Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at Chapter 8. When you look at Chapter 8, there are quite a few formulas that you're going to have to and utilize. So right off the bat, when you think of volume, think about capacity, the amount of matter inside an object, okay? And right off the bat, I want you to remember the formula length times width times height. This is going to equal volume. Okay. When you do think of volume, I want you to think about that there are three dimensions. So that is the width calculator. So please understand there are going to be times when I would recommend paper and pencil, other times calculators. Now, when we're dealing with triangles, they don't use length and width. They use base and height. So you guys probably remember when we draw a rectangle or a square, and I'm going to grab a different color to kind of to show this, but when you cut a rectangle or a square in half diagonally across, you'll see it makes two triangles. Therefore, the triangle is half of a rectangle or a square. And that's where this formula, base times height times half, is where you'll utilize this formula for either surface area, meaning the area of this one triangle, or a triangular prism down here. Okay, so in this case, what you're going to do is you're going to multiply 4 times 6 times 20. And you guys will see that ultimately, if you forget to multiply half, it is for a rectangular prism. This is a triangular prism. Take a look. This triangle is half of this three-dimensional rectangular prism. So it's a triangular prism in this case. Also, I want you to understand that B, when I think of B, I think of bottom. So take a look at this. This is a two-dimensional triangle, but I think of the bottom. And then height, once again, how tall something is. And in that case, base times height times half. And you should get 240 centimeters cubed. Okay, why cubed? Well, because you're multiplying centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, and that's centimeters to the third power. So you probably know how to, once again, get volume, length times width times height, or volume of a prism that has triangular shapes, triangular prisms, 10 times 6 times 6, but don't forget also to divide by half. Now take a look here. Surface area is basically the area of each face. And so if you take a look at this rectangular prism, it has a total of 6 faces. So what you're going to do is you're going to figure out the dimensions of the length and the width of each face, and you're going to multiply them by one another. So this face is 24 centimeters squared. Okay, so and it has 4 faces that are this size: top, bottom, and then front and back. So 24 times 4. Okay, now don't forget the sides have a different dimension. They are 3 by 4. As you can see, here's the height, and there's the going to be let's call it the length. So 4 times 3 is 12. So these sides are 12 centimeters squared. And once again, we have 12. We have a times 2 because there are 2 sides. So what you should get, and what you should end up getting, is 96 plus 24. And for problem number 5, it looks like I made a mistake somewhere. This is a great time to kind of 24 times 4, and that's 96, and then 3 and 4. Yeah, I'm looking at the correct answer over here, 108, and I'm not sure why I'm getting this. However, please understand that, and this is a great time to then rework the problem. I've preached this 100 times. You're going to probably see that somewhere I made a mistake, and it's always a great opportunity to kind of go back and catch those mistakes. What I would do is I would resolve this problem. either the answer key is incorrect or I'm making a foolish mistake. But this is a perfect example. If teachers make slight mistakes with mental math, then obviously students are as well, right? All right, we're now going to move to circles. And I tried to really pick up the pace here because I don't want another 10 or 15 minute video. I will lose most of you. 3.14 is pi. You will see this symbol right up here. They probably will not tell you what 3.14 is. They may just assume that you know what pi is. 22 over 7 is an improper fraction, which does equal 3.14. Now, I want you to remember that the radius is basically the outside of a circle to the center point. This is the radius, okay? Diameter is basically from one side of the circle through the center point to the other side. So that's diameter. You will need to know radius and diameter. So usually the problems, they'll tell you the radius, but they really want you to know the diameter. So you have to know that 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. Therefore, the diameter of this circle is 5. And what they'll probably do is they'll give you the diameter, but they want you to figure out the radius. And if they, once again, if they give you the diameter, then you know the radius is, I'm sorry about that, is half. The radius is half of the diameter. So half of 49, what is that, 24.5? So 24.5 is the radius, and the other 24.5 would make this diameter 49. Now, I want to go ahead and share with you a cool little phrase that I would write down when I'm taking these CASP tests. I would write chocolate, if I can spell it right, chocolate pie delicious. Okay, chocolate pie delicious, kind of a weird phrase, but you're going to see why it's important. And then apple pies are too. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this acronym to help us to remember the formulas. Remember, to figure out the circumference of a circle, you need the distance around the circle, you need a formula. And to figure out the amount of area inside the circle, you need to know a formula. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to use these acronyms to figure that out. C, circumference, chocolate, circumference, equals pi. Pi is 3.14. So when I write that symbol, just know that it's 3.14 and then times d. So like I just said, they'll give you the radius, but they want you to know how to figure out diameter. And so we would multiply 3.14 times 5, and that's going to be our circumference. You can see they gave us the radius. We need to know the diameter. 2.5 and 2.5 is 5. Now down here, apple is going to stand for area. The pi, once again, is going to be 3.14. The r, okay, the r is the radius, and then the 2 is squared, okay? So this is 3.14 times radius squared. Well, the radius, as you can see here, is 24.5, and once again, they didn't give you the radius, they gave you the diameter. What we would do is we'd multiply 3.14 times 24.5 squared. So you're going to multiply 24.5 times itself and then multiply it by 3.14, sorry, and then that'll tell you the amount of space inside this circle. That's the difference between circumference around the circle and area inside. So I think everything else is self-explanatory. We've talked about volume. You will once again need to know this formula to figure out circumference and area problems. Angles and circles really require you, and obviously volume, require you to memorize some formulas. Once you do that, all you do is just plug in the numbers and you're good to go. All right, guys, so chapter 8 done. And once again, we're almost there. Keep up the great work.